could be made better off. With improvements in technology, everyone is made better off. You're a zero-sum type of guy, and I've met people like you. You say, well, wait a minute. If the plumber is making $350 an hour, some other guy's eating dirt. That's not true.
It is true.
No, what I'm saying is if the plumber's making $350 an hour, and the guy at McDonald's is making $350 an hour in this utopian society that you've got, then actually nobody is making any better than anybody else. It becomes a flat line.
You're talking BS now.
You don't have that. And
this makes no sense whatsoever.
Of the world, look at history. Look at how everything
we have looked at history.
Works out. There's always people that have more and people have less. The people that have more take advantage of the ones that's less. I know you've expressed it. You've got a utopian idea of how things can work.
Yes, education is very important.
That way.
Education is very important, and the poor people in America live better than the middle class in a lot of countries. And I think you know that. We got poor people in this country that have cable TV, they have smartphones, they have apartments and running water and food every day. And how do you explain that? If everything is equalized, how do you explain it? It's because of education and our ability to develop technology and to use that technology. And that flows directly from our educational system.
You're taking the human equation out of it, that there's always going to be somebody that exploits somebody and prevents them from getting an education. You know, you're looking at it from a micro level. And I understand it. You're right, man. If we could get everybody in the United States educated to a higher level, then we can increase our status. But guess what? There's always got to be somebody out there. And I ain't saying it's a zero-sum thing. I'm just saying it's the way it works, man. Look at humanity. It's the way it works. There's always going to be somebody out there that gets exploited, and you can't educate somebody that's being exploited. You know, now if you think you can do that, that would be awesome. I understand your premise, but that's just not how it works.
KFADD.
The enemy of good is perfection. You want perfection. You want perfection. Yeah, you want perfection. You're not going to get perfection. Look at poor people in this country. You could say that, oh, whatever, but they live pretty damn well compared to a lot of other places. Why did that happen? Our system is great. The system is wonderful, and a lot of it is based upon better education. And you can have, when you have a higher GDP per capita in another country, the people are usually living a better life. They have more stuff. They have better, more comfortable lives. They tend to live longer. That doesn't mean that everything's perfect. But what I'm saying is if you start adopting this idea, which you have, that education is dangerous or it's negative, we're going to circle the damn drain.
I don't know where you got the idea where I said education is dangerous. I've not said that. I said the educational system is not working well. I bet, everybody ought to study every day and learn a new skill every day and learn something new every day. Yeah, that's how we personally
learn to shut up and listen.
What we could
shut up and listen, Will.
And that's,
take your own advice.
Yeah, that would be great.
Shut up.
Like you said, the technology and everything.
Shut the hell up.
But there always has to be something that feeds that technology. And that's, there's too many examples of too many countries. We think we're so smart and everything else. Man, there was ancient
now we're going to go back.
Smarter than us and had it all worked out, but they always have
you believe in the abominable snowman?
Machine. That's just the way it works.
Oh, that isn't just the way it works. You're completely wrong. Have you ever had an economics class?
In the world that it doesn't work that way.
Have you ever had an economics class? I'm serious.
Tell me somewhere in the world that there's a society that everybody makes really good money and there's not something coming from somewhere else that feeds that from people that don't live at that same level.
There are people, there are countries, Norway and Sweden come to mind. They have very little natural resources, and they do a lot of banking. Their GDP per capita is higher than America's. Okay, now why is that? They're just a banker.
They make their money that way. Okay, so but guess what? Who's feeding them all that money? Is there not people out there borrowing money and using their services that feeds that economy?
Sure. They figured that out. They said, hey, we can make money being bankers. So they did, and it's worked out really good for them. What's wrong with
once
that?
again, a micro-level thing you're looking at. You're not
I'm looking at
there's
wait a minute, the whole damn society.
Spend their resources to enrich the other people. That's how it works, man.
Wait a minute, now you're going to cry about enriching people.
Didn't say that at all. I'm just saying you're ignoring the fact that that's how it works. But you know what? So there's poor people, and there's poor people that by circumstance, there's poor people by choice. That's just the way it is. And there's wealthy people that did it by the sweat of their brow, and there's wealthy people that got that way by exploiting other people. That's how it works.
Yeah, and in 3 generations, you usually go from, shirt sleeves to tuxedos back to shirt sleeves. In 3 generations, that's the typical path. Wealth is not stagnant. It doesn't stay.
Well, he's just a pessimist.
I'm not a pessimist. I'm a realist.
To the Rockefellers.
Well, some people learn how to cheat. The Kennedys did it. We got an example. RFK Jr., right? Does he look like he's been working a job lately?
Experiment that was done back in the 20s. And they put people on an island and gave all of them an equal amount of money. And guess what happened after a period of time?
Yeah, all of it went to one guy.
There you go.
That's right, because he was the most smartest, he was the most industrious, and he should have gotten all the money, because he was paid for performance.
Well, what if he didn't do it for performance? What if he did it through threat of violence like our government does? Hey, you either give me your money or I'll kill you. That's the other way that happens, then you have to acknowledge that in the society also.
That's a completely different subject. But what started this whole argument is your assertion that education has failed in this country, and I say it's our only hope. There's a huge difference between what we're saying.
No, the educational system that is in place right now is failing. Now, did I say people didn't need to be educated? Didn't say that at all. I just said the educational system right now is failing. And, because we've got so many people with college education that are having to work low-level jobs is proof that it has largely failed. Has it worked for the 1 to 10% of the people? Yes, it always works for them. But for the 90% of the people, it's not working right.
Okay, good. So it's broken. Let's fix it.
Correct. That's all I've been saying from the very beginning.
Oh, but that's not what I hear on ham radio. I hear on ham radio that if you go to a college or university, you're going there to be indoctrinated in liberal speech. And that's what you're going to be, and you are a DEI believer, and all these libtard things.
That is a true statement.
No, it is not.
DEI is very important in higher education right now, Joe. Look at Harvard.
Ivy League colleges are all liberal.
Oh, they're all libtards, aren't they? They're all libtards. They all should be shut down.
You're out of touch.
I'm not out of touch. You guys are uneducated, so you have a chip on your shoulder. And you want to say, the way to go is to be that plumber. I'm going to be that plumber, except when you got a town like I live in of 22,000 people, and half the people are plumbers. I think we're going to have a problem.
Shut up.
That's ridiculous.
Well, Joe, like I said, you've made the point for everybody else 2 or 3 different times. Oh, everybody go out and get these higher levels of education, and hey, if we can make it to that utopian society that you speak of, that would be awesome. but it doesn't happen because of the way things work. And you should be able, you sound like you're an intelligent man, and you should be able to recognize